It's not, and that's okay.
No, ain't the shit don't be goddamn. My content not for everybody. That's okay.
Now, for real, my content is not for everybody. To the genuine ones with noble intentions, I truly hope that you continue to find peace within, regardless to who gave up on you overlooks you during your journey. You matter and you are worthy. My content is not for everyone, and that's okay. To the genuine ones, never give up on yourself when someone says you don't have potential. Never give up on yourself when someone took your conscious weakness. They disrespected you, made you feel like you wasn't worthy when you didn't have malicious intentions. My content is not for everybody. Healing, trauma, and pain is not a race overnight process. Loving yourself is not a crime, and I say that respectfully.
Love yourself to better yourself, never dim your light. Love yourself to better yourself, never dim your light. Catch your blessings, never, 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 don't dim your light. Catch your blessings, never, never, don't dim your light. Don't ever trade off of me.
How they wanted you to be discovered during the season. That God showed up for you to show you balance when it came to communication. Understanding your faith, they would never understand your existence. Why you came out your comfort zone when God wasn't steering in the wrong direction. They try to paint you out to be the villain in their story, but that was okay because God never removed his hands off of you. Even when you got lost in your words, you understood that receiver that day. Continue to be patient with your time today when it comes to elevation, how growth looks good on you when it comes to maturing. You act at your body weight, you're hacking your body weight onto shoe size. They would never understand they couldn't keep up with their own lies.
No, and the shade on me. Oh my God, I don't know what's wrong with these people either.
How it took a whole community of different types of folks in different tax brackets to try to dim your light, but God showed you that hold on 1 second, I never moved the light off for you. It was within you, and they couldn't relate to. It was being authentic. Hold on 1 second, these fools was trying to paint you up to be the villain of their story.
No, and the shade off of me.
How they had your device to lie on your name. They try to paint you up to be a criminal at the end of the day, to blackmail you against you, but who would have knew that the potential was truly within you being yourself. You wasn't running from your past, and it's just different. How self-love looks different on everybody. It wasn't for likes and views or cloud chasing, and it's just different. When you understand that storm that you overcame when it came to that testimony that day, God didn't reject you because God was truly choosing you. The energy is different.
Love yourself to better yourself, never dim your light. Love yourself to better yourself, never dim your light. Check you out, neighbor, don't dim your light. Check you out, neighbor, don't dim your light. Help myself not to dim my light. I was never in competition. Hold on 1 second, didn't have hate in my vein. I just understood I wasn't trying to ruin my reputation.
That's what you tried to do that day. That wasn't in my train of thought. I was far from miserable. You was moving off your bad habits. You would have swore I was a supply at the end of the day, but I don't operate like that at the end of the day. I just know how to feed my neighbor spiritual healing. That energy is different. They would never understand how to truly deeply heal.
No, Evan, take off of me.
Always be yourself with no malicious intentions, and I say that respectfully.
Misunderstood and loved by you, far from a hater, what about you? Misunderstood and judged by you, far from a hater, what about you? It was listen up. Far from a hater. The energy hits different.
You know, when you actually listen to truly go within, being misled by God, nah, because God was just on time. Our time zone may be different, but that energy is different. When you catching your blessings, not to reject yourself, you didn't have hate in your vein. You understood that. Hold on 1 second. You didn't look at your neighbor like competition. When they had so much animosity and pain at the end of the day, couldn't stay in their lane. How you had to throw programs in a toxic way to make you feel like you was bent out of shape. But God said, no, you're not trying to catch a case a day. That energy is different. My content is not for everyone. You know, our time zones may be different when it comes to elevation. But I never looked at my neighbor like competition. You would never understand the storm, especially when I have to do you wrong. They say misery loves company, but I didn't have to disturb your peace. How you painted me out to be the villain of your story, all because I was willing to choose me to actually heal me. That energy is different. We don't have the same calling when it comes to our sight and day, our vision. Hold on 1 second, our shoe size. It may be the same, but hold on 1 second, God didn't tell a lot because our walk of life ain't the same.
No, and the straight on me. Oh my God.
Always be yourself, and I say that respectfully. I got these chicks and dudes so bent out of shape. I was far from the fool, far from the villain in their story. When they try to paint me out to be somebody that wasn't when I wasn't trying to catch a case. Wow. You ever got lost in your words? But God didn't discourage you when the enemy tried to shortchange you? The enemy didn't want you to see your vision, but God allows you to love you, to understand and be patient because God was giving you the guidance.
No, and the shade of me, always be yourself and overlay sense.
That self-love hits different, love. How you carry yourself at the end of the day, How you got folks lying on your name in different tax brackets, all because they're trying to humiliate you. But God actually shows you what patience looks like up close in person when God fixed your crown that day.
Oh, God check you out, you mad, you're worthy.
I may be whacking corny to you, but for the folks who truly feel me at the end of the day, yeah, that respect is different because we ain't got hate in our vein. We don't look at our neighbor like competition regardless of our pain. Yeah, that energy is different. Always be yourself with no misintentions. I got these chicks so bent out of shapes. I got these chicks and dudes so bent out of shape. They misery loves company was truly a membership, and they forgot to actually how to cooperate.
No, Evan, check on me.
I never understood this. No, for real, bro. If you don't like somebody, why would you antagonize somebody? Only to was to hold on 1 second. Was that a smart thing to do?
You jackass disturbing your goddamn peace. You said you didn't like them, so why would you bother them?
And then when they speak up for themselves, you said that they're a snitch when they wasn't trying to catch a case. Yeah, the math ain't adding up either. I never understood that. You don't like somebody because they elevate. You don't like someone because they're spiritually gifted more than you, or someone is more gifted than you in certain areas in their life, or someone doesn't have to have more than you, but you don't like them, but you decide to antagonize them to try to dim their light, a light that you can't dim, but you rather threaten someone's life to get them locked up or put them in a sideboard, have the next door neighbor in different tax brackets, trying to blackmail somebody, gang stalk them, have the devices. It sounds like you're doing a lot for a 9 to 5.
No, Evan, check on me. Goddamn, you didn't lie either. No, for real, because your hand showed for real. Because God saw what you was doing.
You know, they say God ain't real, but God allowed you to heal. You know, the innocent person who actually put that footwork in because it wasn't an overnight process. Because, you know, healing trauma and pain is not a game. Because you have to understand your pain mentally. Hold on 1 second. Because you almost gave up on yourself. They would never understand your intuitions. You know, that last testimony, you thought it was just the beginning, but you was just getting started. Because a chapter that actually begins with you, it will always end with you. Because it will be one chapter to the next chapter to the next chapter. And when God is guiding you, they will never understand how the devil can't stop you. That energy is different. You know, healing childhood trauma going into your adulthood. Hold on 1 second. I may not make sense to the average person, but who would have knew that God fixed your crown that day to show you at the end of the day you was far from the fool. I'm not aging all the respect that my content is not for everyone. Wow. Always be yourself with no misintentions. They would never understand how. You ever chose you, but you didn't have the right folks showing up for you. But only to realize, hold on 1 second, I didn't reject me when I almost gave up on me. They would never understand my vision when they threw spark at me. Only for me to realize I poured into my cup and I didn't shortchange me because God was really guiding me. Only for me to realize that, hold on 1 second, God sent all the people into my life that didn't have hate in their vein, let alone they wouldn't look at that competition. And it's just different when it comes to elevation, when it comes to maturing, acting your body weight. They would never understand that you ain't acting your shoe size when it comes to growth.
Misunderstood and loved by you, far from a hater, what about you? Misunderstood and judged by you, far from a hater, what about you?
It took a whole group of people to try to dim your light, or because you was willing to treat yourself right. You was respecting your neighbor days when you couldn't see. Hold on 1 second, neighbor. I ain't got to disrespect you, but hold on 1 second. God saw you. You know, when I say God, my Heavenly Mother, my Heavenly Father God, I don't use it for manipulation. I don't use it to blackmail my neighbor. I use it in a sense as to having common sense. One thing I don't do is run from my past. We are not the same. And I damn sure don't play with spell work. Good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. It's kind of funny how someone will try to sit there and poke the bear. But then when you poke the bear, you don't like the reaction. Like, say, for instance, you try to blackmail somebody against themselves, and then when they speak up for themselves, they dead ass wrong. Or you try to plot somebody to be at a scene and try to get them locked up in between of you having jealousy and envy and hate within you, and you forgot to have self-control and come to discipline, but you wouldn't want somebody to do that to your baby. Damn. Or let alone someone you love. It'd be a train of thought for me. Because someone didn't have to do anything to you. So you had the mindset of, you know what, having hate in your vein, let alone you had to play with spoken in a toxic way. And then when someone calls you out on your bullshit, damn, they dead ass wrong because they didn't have to do you wrong. It'd be the train of thought for me. How this type of stuff actually happens, it may not be happening in your household, but it's happening in someone else's household. How someone is being gang stalked, and they don't have to do it for likes and views or cloud chasing, because someone just endured trauma and pain. Someone just lost their life because someone lacks self-control when it comes to discipline. Because it didn't matter someone's tax bracket that day. Someone could have probably had nothing in their refrigerator. Someone barely probably had money to pay their bills. But someone with more would sit there and try to destroy somebody's character traits. Try to manipulate somebody's character traits or disrespect somebody and say, you know what? God not real. God not real. You need to heal. That's what they say. God not real. You need to heal. But never not one time, innocent person, God never left your side. And God never told a lie. You know, it started within you. And when God was leading you by your side, they would never understand that. Hold on 1 second. When God revealed the enemy in this corner, when God revealed the devil in this corner, they said, you know what? When I have your back against the wall, when I'm beating your ass or robbing you mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially, where's your God at now? Wow. Where's your God at? You know, if I raise my voice, then they say I'm crazy, I'm slow, stupid, and retarded. Then, you know, you know, when you have your neighbors in different zip codes and continents and stuff like that, they would try to blackmail you for being your authentic self because they pick and choose who they want to bully. They pick and choose who they want to discriminate against. And you tell on somebody or you speak up for yourself in a vocabulary that's very respectful, you know, before they did the bullshit. No, they did bullshit to you. And they try to blackmail you against you to paint you out to be the villain in their story. But you know what? When you put everything in God's hands, God leads you. When you put everything in God's hands, God sends you your people. When you put everything in God's hands, it was never for likes and views or cloud chasing. When you put everything in God's hands, I don't wish the devil good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. And my content is not for everything. When you put everything in God's hands, and God was never for sale. My content is not for everybody. You can disrespect me all day long. But God is not steering me wrong. I know how it feels not to have food in my stomach. I know how it feels not to have. I know how it feels to be abandoned. I know how it feels not to be respected. I know how it feels to be disrespected. I know how it feels for someone not to love me. I know how it feels for someone to disrespect me in the most unhealthiest way. I almost lost me. But God said, no. Not another day. I'm going to send the folks that's truly for you. Regardless if you had he say, she say. They was playing with spirit. I saw what these motherfuckers was doing. Excuse my French. At least I'm not hurting nobody. That energy is different. How you got individuals psyching people at their free will. But then you hear somebody say a curse word or two. Now they're wrong. I said stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. Stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. How folks are playing with spoken in a toxic way. Sending witchcraft, voodoo, hexes, and all types of stuff to psych folks at their free will. They forgot to truly heal. It didn't matter their tax bracket at the end of the day. Your neighbor just lost their life when he wasn't trying to catch a case. Because they became a case now. Or because someone didn't understand discipline, self-control. Didn't matter their house. It didn't matter how their house was when they had an upbringing. If they had a mom and dad in there. Because people pick and choose who they want to bully. People pick and choose who they want to kick down. People pick and choose, oh, I see you as competition. Being that you live in poverty and pain now, I don't want your status to ever change in life. I want you to forever be in that situation. I don't want you to be able to help your neighbor if they're homeless. I don't want you to be able to help yourself if you're having a bad or good day. Or a day, you know what, you're trying to get pennies together to make sure you got to eat. Let alone going outside to go grab a bottle or two and put in the machine and make sure that you have a home-cooked meal for the night. How folks have this mindset. And they can have more than you. That's why I say every community is sweet not for you. Because a community that's sweet for you, they won't project sport on you. And a community that's sweet for you, they wouldn't listen to he say, she say before getting the actual facts. They wouldn't sit there and listen to he say, she say, or get a couple of dollars to project sport on an innocent person. They wouldn't do no shit like that. No, they wouldn't do that. You just threw sport at somebody, didn't know the situation, and only realized now when someone speaks up for themselves or someone says, you know what, return back to sender. And they didn't have to light a candle, they didn't have to do sport towards you, they didn't have to do anything. But you decide to hack the devices, be part of the hate train towards the innocent person, You know this type of stuff happens every single day, and someone is not doing it for likes and views or cloud chasing. How someone will have someone shadow banned, and when they speak up for themselves, that person is crazy, they lying. How it takes a group of people to go up against one person to get them locked up or put them in a sideboard. Or then you have the mindset someone can have more money than you, and it didn't matter their tax bracket, how they would hack your devices, gang stalk you, have your next door neighbor in different zip codes telling you every move, what you got going on, who's coming in and out of your crib, or who's sitting in your car, or what diner did you go to, or what supermarket did you go to, what doctor's office did you go to. They will even hack your devices to keep up with your conversations and maintain it. And you'll be on the phone with somebody, or let alone you record something on your phone, and now everything is missing on your phone. And only for them to take everything that you just whatever just happened that moment, like, huh? And they sit there paint you out to be crazy. How this type of stuff actually happens. Gang stalking is real until it's your household. And not one lie was told, because you didn't have to operate out of having hate and jealousy and envy within you after these folks did what they did to you. Good day, bad day, or misunderstand day. You didn't sign up for their one-sided contract. How this type of stuff actually happens. And then when an innocent person speaks up for themselves, they're wrong. Or when someone was being extremely disrespectful to somebody, it didn't matter someone's job title that day. How a person allows someone to disrespect them for so long, walk over their toes for so long, and as soon as they speak up for themselves, now they'll be calling a snitch. Now they want now you want to give back at somebody when you was disrespecting them in the first place. Didn't matter your job title. Someone didn't have to disrespect you, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day, for you to have the mindset of trying to take someone down. How this type of stuff actually happens. Just because it's not happening in your household, it's happening in someone else's household that feel like they don't have a voice. Or not only they don't feel like they don't have a voice, but when they speak up for themselves, they're being labeled as they're crazy, slow, stupid, and retarded. Oh, this never happened. You're delusional. How this type of stuff actually happens. And for a whole community to get together and to blackmail somebody to keep up with the same story, it tells a lot about your character traits. It does. That's why every community is truly not for you. And that's okay. Because the right community, when it's truly for you, they see you, they hear you, and they respect you. They won't blackmail you against you. And I say that respectfully. Never allow someone to dim your light. They say God not real, but God's been keeping it real.
Misunderstood and loved by you, far from a hater, what about you? Misunderstood and judged by you, far from a hater, what about you?
On my end, it says community. I don't know what community truly is at the end of the day. It's probably people gang stalking me, who knows? But every community is truly not for you. But the right community is truly for you, regardless how y'all got this set up or whatever the case may be, to the genuine ones only with no malicious intentions, to the genuine ones only that don't send the evil eye or let alone send spoken in a toxic way, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. You matter and you are worthy. And my content is not for everyone. I never was doing this for likes and views or cloud chasing, but respect is a two-way street. How someone would paint you out to be crazy when you see something and like, hold on 1 second, I know what I saw within I'm seeing, and they try to blackmail you against you to use that as evidence and say, you know what, we got you. When you got people out here actually committing crimes at the end of the day, like the stuff that you do, you could be an investigator for Crime Stoppers, like for real. It'd be the train of thought for me, because you are the criminal, bothering an innocent person who didn't sign up for your one-sided conversation. It'd be the train of thought for me. How this type of stuff actually happens. And it doesn't matter about someone's tax bracket. How someone can invite you to their table and they become your enemy. And you never even had that in your vocabulary. Good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. Only for them to dig up your past and try to humiliate you. Only for them to say that you don't have potential, but they sit there months, a year times, however long it is, and watch you, observe you, take notes to blackmail you against you. And then they sit there and say that you're a copycat. Nobody's going to ever believe you when you fall from a copycat. how they sit there and steal your creativity, how they sit there and try to blackmail you against you, or how they sit there energy harvest off your energy, how they sit there and try to destiny swipe at you, how they sit there and project spirit towards you, how they sit there and clone your devices or hack your devices or project spirit towards you or gang stalk you just to try to get you locked up, put you in the sideboard. And he said that nobody will ever believe you. And they even go down to the point of having you homeless and say that nobody will ever believe you, that they did this to you. How this type of stuff actually happens. And it's the same individual saying that they're so healed. If you're so healed, you wouldn't have that mindset of kicking the next person down. One thing I don't do is run from my past. I don't. It's no need to. Anything I endured, it happened. And one thing I don't have to do is lie regardless to who tries to blackmail me against me. And I don't wish the devil good day, bad day, or misunderstanding, and I say that respectfully. We may not pray the same, but I don't got hate in my vein. I can respect my neighbor and say, hey, you're going left when you need to be going right. You may not understand what I'm saying to you at the moment, but that was never disrespectful in no shape or form. Yeah, you're not for me, but stay at your own table. Exactly. But I know how to respect my neighbor. I never looked at my neighbor like competition because our walk of life is different. We don't have the same goals. We don't have the same mission because I worship God, not the devil. I don't worship the enemy. We are not the same. And God is not for sale, and God has never been for sale. My content is not for everyone. Always be yourself with no misintentions. Yeah, I mean, shadow ban, that's cool. They said that nobody would ever hear my voice when I'm telling the truth. But God heard everything. That's all that matters. And I don't live in fear, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions.
Misunderstood and loved by you, far from a hater, what about you? Misunderstood and judged by you, far from a hater, what about you? Now here's a train of thought for me.
Have a safe year, day, evening, week. You matter, you're worthy. Protect your energy, protecting your family, and stop the violence and stay out of trouble. Loving yourself is not a crime, and I say that respectfully. You know, when the right people walk into your life, they don't look at you like competition. Good day, bad day, or a misunderstanding day. And I say that respectfully. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. When God sends the right people into your life, that elevation and growth hits different when it comes to maturity. Folks acting a body weight when it comes to, hold on 1 second, I wasn't acting my shoe size. I'm dealing with trauma and pain still today, overcoming a storm. I almost gave up on myself, but I'm very so thankful that God didn't do me wrong. I'm very so much thankful I found balance when I least expected. Understanding knowledge was truly the key to life at the end of the day, allowing me to love me. I was truly to give to myself when I least expected. I almost rejected me. I almost got stuck in that last testimony. But I overcame it when I least expected, blindsided. I'm walking by faith, understanding my vision. They can't understand my reality, understanding I had to walk by faith. And never was a lie told. I may make some folks uncomfortable, but I had to believe in me, not to overlook me. That energy is different when you understand the receiver. That's God's time, not the devil work. The energy is different. I have to sell my soul. Loving yourself, the better yourself, never dim your light. Love yourself, never dim your light. Loving yourself, the better yourself, never dim your light. God works in mysterious ways. Always be yourself. Practice makes perfect, and I say that respectfully. Because someone says you don't have potential, the right person will walk into your life and actually see you. Folks be trying to humble you, disrespect you, allow to see you frown, play with spoken and toxic way to make you feel supposed to be, oh, you're coming your worst enemy. But God said, nah, God's your back. They will never understand growth when it comes to time and day, understand your existence. Hold on 1 second, they will never understand how you truly operate. They swear they know you up and down. They think they're taking notes at the end of the day. Only realize you didn't lose yourself. Even if you get lost in your word, you still was willing to better yourself. Understanding what growth looks like up close in person. Practice makes perfect. It was like that test that you failed that day, only to realize that, hold on 1 second, you was able to take it over. This is what life does to you at the end of the day, starting with you when you're willing to change. I'm not you don't love respect. My content is not for everybody, and I say that respectfully. Always be yourself with no misintentions. Loving yourself is not a crime. When it comes to my creativity, I work alone. Always have. Never work with no third-party conversations. And one thing I don't have to do is lie. regardless of who tries to blackmail me against me, regardless of who tries to paint a conversation that I didn't show up for and it was one-sided, respectfully. Don't ever feel wrong for expressing yourself to the wrong person. Never feel wrong for congratulating someone. Never ever feel wrong for saying respect to someone at the end of the day. Because you know why? When God reveals the enemy, let alone the devil, God showed you why your enemies couldn't understand you. To understand God's point of view, why you ain't shortchange yourself of God's vision, loving you. I'm not aging you in love, respect, and my content is not for everybody. Always be yourself. When it comes to my creativity, I work alone and always have. I don't do third-party conversations when it comes to Naya, genuine love, respect. And I say that respectfully, regardless of who tries to blackmail me against me. I work alone. Always be yourself and no misintentions. Thank you for your time. Today is currently June 7, 2025.
Always be yourself, but no malicious. No ever change over me, no damn your life, girl. You never, no damn your life.
Always be yourself. And I say that respectfully. It's not a crime to be authentic. It's not. Certain folks will never understand it. They're not going to, but they're going to be able to get it. But they're fitting in with folks that's going to disrespect you, and you're not trying to shortchange you. You was never the issue. When the right people walk into your life, they fix your crown to see you frown. Maintain that smile. Who would have knew that God would actually show up for you, not to kick you down. Always be yourself. When God sends the right people into your life, that balance is different. It's healthy respect. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect. Truly keeping it real. Thank you for your time. Have a good day. I'm Naya, genuine respect.